did not even have an average offensive line. So with an average offensive line, let alone one of the best in the league that Indianapolis has, I think Rivers is going to bounce back this year, especially when he's playing in a dome.
Really like that signing by the Colts. I think, especially with the O'Brien being the GM now, the Texans, Colts are definitely. I think that's their division to lose. Big Rivers, I think, is a big upgrade over Brissett. You don't have Brissett, and you haven't seen the natural qualifications, but I do know you're high on Brissett as well. So interested to hear.
I'm not high on Brissett. I mean, Brissett would probably be in like around the same where like Andy Dalton is right now, like 27, 26, something like that. That's probably where I'd have Brissett. Brissett's very much like Teddy Bridgewater, and you kind of know what you got. I think Bridgewater's got a little bit more upside than Brissett does, but I wouldn't say I'm high on him. But I am very high on the move of getting Philip Rivers. So now we're
watch out for the Colts this season. I thought Rivers might have been the Patriots might have interested in him, but obviously not.
Yeah, I don't think in the cold weather that would have worked very well. But now we got number 16, which is the perfect spot because this was always the Andy Dalton spot, which is the middle of the pack. And right now, to me, that is Derek Carr. Derek Carr is the middle. It's the dividing line in the NFL of where you need to be quarterback-wise. I don't think he's good enough to win a Super Bowl, but I think he's plenty good enough to at least get by. No, I'm sorry. I don't think he's good enough to be the reason you win the Super Bowl. I think he is good enough to have a team around him that can help him get there, and he can not do just enough to win it.
We'll see how the Las Vegas Raiders do this year. There is a chance Mariota might get some starts. Gruden, you always hear whispers, isn't so high on Carr.
Yeah, exactly. I think Gruden is sick and tired of watching people wide open down the field and Derek Carr already dumping it off because Carr is probably the most conservative quarterback in the league right now, and that's not John Gruden's style. So
how crazy is the Las Vegas Super Bowl going to be in like 3 or 4 years when they do that? Now there's a stadium there.
I mean,
maybe Fish could do the halftime show. Or your favorite band?
Wow, you're just like giving everybody like all these inside information about me. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to Fish in the halftime show, but something tells me going from Jennifer Lopez.
You and my buddy Scott Rogasty are just like the biggest Fish fans I ever known.
When's Scott coming on the show?
Hopefully soon. And if you check out his Twitter feed this past week, he did like about 50 tweets in a row about Fish, and it was just like he's like, all right, I don't care if I'm losing my followers. Fish is the best. But Scott, fellow member of your tribe, right? Hopefully he'll be on the show sooner rather than later. We did have his co-host Adnan Verk on. If you missed that episode, you go back and watch that. Listen to that on demand on Spotify or however you're listening to this right now.
So let's move on. Next, we got 15. So I mentioned that Derek Carr was the line that if you had great surrounding talent on offense, defense, and coaching, that you can get to the Super Bowl. Well, the guy right above him had that last year and got to the Super Bowl, and that's Jimmy Garoppolo. I think Garoppolo's a little bit more upside than Derek Carr, though I do think he is in a great position, and it's kind of hard to tell how he'd fare with average talent surrounding him. But there's talent there, and I think he showed a good amount bouncing back from a torn ACL. So I have him at 15. 14 is a guy that I know we kind of disagree on a lot sometimes. He's kind of in the same spot he's always been for me, which is Kirk Cousins at 14. I think he's a good quarterback. I just would never feel comfortable betting on him. He never really won the big game ever up until like this past year. Like he won a playoff game. I just he doesn't do it for me. Even at Michigan State, like obviously he's had himself a hell of a career. He's made a lot of money. He's had success in the regular season, but I was very happy when the Jets didn't give him the money he wanted. And at 13, we have Cam Newton. So this is assuming Cam is at least somewhat healthy. If he's even 80% of what he was in his MVP season, this is pretty much where he would be. And as much as I'm struggling to find a spot for him, I find it hard to believe that someone is not going to give him a starting job.
I think he's going to be a backup this year. It's at least on paper. And I don't know where could who's going to sign him at this point? I don't know. The Redskins going to say, Ron Rivera is going to say, come back. I don't think Newton wants to be with Ron Rivera anymore. I just don't see any fit for him. I mean, maybe he's like signs with like the Lions as the backup because they know Stafford. Stafford's going to get hurt when he takes the job. It's just really tough to see a logical fit for Newton at this point.
I mean, the Patriots are the obvious fit. I think that one that might be that people are overlooking right now is Jacksonville. I think it's possible that they're not as sold on Gardner Minshew as they say they are, and there's no veteran backup there at the moment. So I think Jacksonville is a spot where he can go and do like a ground and pound kind of offense, Leonard Fournette. So that's
tier 3. My issue with tier 3, Kirk Cousins, I have him as a top 10 quarterback, probably 10. Well, I mean, you have a 14, so I'm not really that crazy to say I have him 4 spots higher. Right. I got in this tier, I probably have Carson Wentz in this tier because, or either Carson Wentz or Dak Prescott. I'm sure you probably have them close to each other on the list, but I'd probably have them more on this tier. But let's move on to tier 2. And there's going to be a name in here that's been mentioned in the news quite a lot, and we'll speak about him once you finish up tier 2, which has a lot of elite Hall of Fame caliber talent in this tier.
Yeah, the tier 2 goes from 12 to 5. So there's definitely these are guys that are definitely good enough to lead to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, just keep this in mind. Like most people say, oh, the elite. Give me a top 5. Nah, Hirsch is different. He gets a top 4, and then he says, all right, 5 through 12. These guys.
Yeah.
Just think about the name. Think about the names he's going to list here, and then you'll see there's 3 no doubt Hall of Famers in this tier, and you'll be like, what? He hasn't associated with some of these guys?
I think there's
actually 5 Hall of Famers.
Well, there's 4 no doubt Hall of Famers. There's probably 5. Yeah.
All right. Take it away. Take it away.
Well, let's start with one of those no doubt Hall of Famers. At number 12, I had Ben Roethlisberger. So when I first made this list, I had Ben at like 8. And then I saw a picture of him recently and saw his beard and saw his gut and was not too happy with what I was seeing. Ben Roethlisberger, even more so than Tom Brady, as a Jets fan, he was the quarterback that always scared the crap out of me whenever the Jets would play, because the Jets would the thing with Brady, obviously he would cut you to pieces, but the second you got to him, which was rare because he'd always step up in the pocket, but if you got to him, you'd get him down.
Right. How good is Mike Tomlin? Because if Roethlisberger plays last year, they're definitely in the playoffs, and they almost got in with Hodges and Rudolph. Great coach.
Yeah, I think he's a very good coach. I have a lot of Steeler fans that aren't real fans of him, but I think after what we saw what happened with Antonio Brown, that I think Steeler fans should have a newfound respect for him. But Roethlisberger, if he gets back to full health, will probably be a couple of spots higher than what I have him. But right now, I just think it's safe to put him at 12. At number 11, we have Dak Prescott. Dak is one of those guys that also has had one of the most beneficial supporting cast surrounding him. Offensive line,
running back,
Amari Cooper, Zeke Elliott. Well, the head coach wasn't really great, but I think Dak deserves the money that he's going to get.
Well, there's a chance he might hold out, and if he misses the first week, who is the Cowboys' backup?
Who is the Cowboys' backup? It's like Cooper, isn't it like Cooper Rush or something? I don't know.
Maybe they could sign Cam Newton or Jameis Winston backing up Dak Prescott.
That's such a Dallas Cowboy move. I think they're going to end up paying him. But so we have Dak at 11. At number 10, we have Carson Wentz. So these guys throughout their careers have always been compared to each other. They came out of the same draft, I believe. And I was a huge Wentz guy coming out of North Dakota State. And you look at what Wentz had surrounding him and what Dak has surrounding him. Wentz has really no one to throw the ball to at this point. He's a former college quarterback, Greg Ward, was his number 1 target at the end of last year, and yet somehow led his team to the playoffs.
Wentz had a career year, didn't he? I mean, obviously he was going to win MVP if he didn't get hurt a few years ago, but statistically wise, I think it was his best full year.
Yeah, I mean that's full year, but again, you mentioned that year when he would have won an MVP. I mean, that's something Dak Prescott has never done. Like there was some MVP buzz for Dak at the beginning of last year, but that didn't hold. But yeah, I just think Wentz has a little bit more upside. I have him at 10. Number 9, we have your boy Tom Brady, and I don't want you to riot, but I think even you would admit it seemed like it took a little bit of a step back last year. Obviously, there wasn't.
Brady's not going to be number
with.
1, but I wouldn't have him outside of the top 7. So we'll see. I don't really get the move. If he wants to win, he should have stayed where he was. But he's joining 2 1,000-yard receivers, and he's apparently really pushing for the Bucs to sign Antonio Brown. But the NFC South has Drew Brees and Matt Ryan and Teddy Bridgewater, and the NFC overall is just a much harder path to the Super Bowl, especially with only one bye now, and or rumored to be. And Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, I mean, Kirk Cousins, Mitch Trubisky. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to easily go to the Super Bowl like he would have probably been able to do staying in England.
Oh man, you crack me up, man. Yeah, Brady. I get it from his perspective. What else does he have to prove in New England? There's nothing else to prove, and he's already the greatest of all time. I don't think he's the best of all time. I think he's the greatest of all time, but that's the thing. I think he wants to prove that he's the best. And
you think the greatest of all time is in your tier 2 quarterbacks?
He is right now. I mean, if this was 2005, he'd be number 1. But this isn't 2005. It's 2020.
How about the best of all time? Is he a tier 2 quarterback?
He is. We'll
get to that. We'll see soon. That's what you call a tier, folks.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think he's going to be the best of all time much longer, and we'll get to that even later. But yeah, so I mean, the move for Brady makes sense to me. And the head coach in Bruce Arians, I think, is someone he respects. So I mean, I'm very interested to see. I'm actually excited to root for Tom Brady. I kind of look at it in the way that my Red Sox fan friends used to talk about Derek Jeter, where it was like they hated the fact that they could not hate the guy, right? Like they wanted to hate the guy, but they couldn't.
You got a diverse friend group: Patriots fans, Red Sox fans, Steelers fans. Oh yeah,
man. No judgments, bro. So I'm excited to root for him. Because I always disliked Belichick more than I dislike.
Are you gonna get a Tom Brady Buccaneers jersey?
No, that I won't do.
What's the last jersey you got? Sam Darnold?
Oh, dude, you're gonna laugh at this.
Jerko Country.
No. It's very recent. Like
is it a
about
Jet?
Like a year ago. It is a Jet. I will say before I say who it is, I did get it for like $15.
Is he currently a New York Giant?
No, he is not. It's not Leonard Williams. No.
Okay.
I have a rule that I don't get jerseys of people younger than me. So the player is a bit older than me. We're about the same age, but he's about my age. Yeah.
Who is it?
You want me to reveal it to you? Sure, you can't guess.
He's probably not a Jet anymore, I would think.
No, he's still a Jet. He is. As much as Adam Gase probably doesn't want him there, he's still a Jet.
Le'Veon Bell?
That's right.
Oh! How'd you get that for $15? So you're one of those Jets fans that was super pumped. Oh my gosh, you got Le'Veon Bell. I got to get his jersey. And then you're like, Adam Gase gives him the ball 5 times a game.
Yeah, man. It wasn't a happy sight. But I got it very cheap, so I'm not gonna complain.
I think Le'Veon Bell, you just let the guy run the ball.
Oh,
See
man.
what he's got left.
They got to put an offensive line around him. They got to put a system that actually he is good at, not the system he's in right now. But let's move on. Number 8, we have Matt Ryan. So I was never a huge Matt Ryan guy. I thought he was a very good quarterback, but that MVP year really, really opened my eyes a little bit. And he's just a really good player. I think he's going to make the Hall of Fame. And I also think the guy right above him, who I kept flipping back and forth, who I think is one of the more underrated players in the league, Matthew Stafford. I think it's crazy because I don't think he has a single playoff win, but his statistics are just so